What's up guys, Logan here, and today I'm going to be showing y'all my buddy's 2016 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro Edition. Now, the Toyota Tundra in itself is actually a really good, reliable truck. Looks good, powerful engine, 5.7 liter engine, but when you throw the TRD Pro Edition on there, it's just a completely different animal altogether. You have upgraded suspension, upgraded exhaust, upgraded interior. It's just an all-around cool truck. So what would you say is the major differences between this truck and a normal Toyota Tundra?
So probably the first thing, the Toyota Tundra is a phenomenal truck just on its own. But when you throw in the TRD Pro Edition, you get a bunch of upgrades that go along with it. And then when you add some of the additional aftermarket things that we did here to make it look the way it does now, you really get something that's all your own. So to start off with, if you take a look at the TRD Pro, the first thing that you'll see is that all the badging is all blacked out. I really like that. It gives it a nice aggressive look. The door handles are blacked out. The badges on the side of the truck, both the Tundra and the 5.7 liter V8 I-Force is all blacked out. That just makes it look really, really tough. In addition to that, at the very front of the truck, we look at it, as opposed to having a standard Tundra grille, you have the Toyota badging on the front of the truck. That just really is what sold me on the truck, was just how aggressive and how tough it looked on the very, very front of the truck. Another thing that you'll see is on the back of the truck, the TRD Pro is actually stamped into the truck. And so you can see that it's got a nice three-dimensional look to it. Just to add a little flair to it, we went ahead and bought some of the TRD Pro lettering to have it really stand out, so you can see it visibly, and it's a good color scheme with the black and the red to go along with the rest of the truck.
And that's one way you're actually able to know if it's a real TRD Pro Edition or not, because some people, they just throw the TRD Pro stickers on there, but if it's not stamped in there, it's not a real TRD Pro. One
of the other things that you'll see too as well is that you can actually see that the TRD Pro comes with the full exhaust, and so the tips of the exhaust are all chrome tips. You can see it's also stamped as well with the TRD Pro logo. On top of that, when you take a look at the suspension, really when you're buying the TRD Pro, what you're really paying for is for the suspension. And so when you think about suspension and you're talking about quality suspension, you can't beat Bilstein suspensions. You know, in the aftermarket world, if you want a really top quality suspension, the Bilstein suspension is really it's really the way to go. And so that's really what makes this kind of a special truck. It's made to go off-road. It's made to do Baja type off-roading. If you take a look at Toyota's own videos online, they're taking it off-road through some of the most gruesome environments you've seen. It's really nice because at the very front you'll see that the TRD Pro logo is actually also in the coils and the coilover shocks. It's actually stamped right there in white. I love that the coils are actually red. It just gives it a nice, classy, almost elegant look.
And how would you say as far as off-roading, have you taken it off-road, and if you did, how was the performance?
You know what, I don't like taking it off-road because it's such a nice truck, but you know, it's made to go off-road, and so yeah, I've done some off-roading with it. It handles phenomenally. It rides so nice and smoothly. I've made some additional changes to the suspension that we'll talk about here in a little bit, but it's just a phenomenally smooth ride, whether or not you're driving on the highway or if you're going off-roading. Just phenomenal.
And one other thing that Toyota did that was actually kind of cool is the paint down here is actually a little bit thicker, and they did that because they know that when you're going off-road and everything, the mud's just going to be flying up there, has rocks and everything on it. So basically it just gives you a more wear-resistant coating on the bottom of the truck. And as far as the interior, that is one thing that truly blows me away. It's just a huge, spacious interior. I mean, you could put a little bed back here, whatever. I know they have those little blow-up mattresses for trucks now, but I mean, there is just a ton of room back here. You can look on the front too. It's just a very comfortable ride. I mean, I've ridden in this truck going from here to Dallas, no problem at all. It's a very comfortable ride, and it's a very roomy exterior, so you're not going to be cramped on long drives either. So what have you done to make this truck actually stand out from other TRD Pros or other Toyotas on the road?
Well, besides the lettering that we talked about before, obviously with the truck, you want to have a nice, comfortable way to get in. having these amp research steps, it just makes it so comfortable. I like how it tucks in into the truck. It actually gives it a little better clearance as well, because when the doors are shut, the steps clear away. One of the other nice things too is that at night, and I don't know if you can see this, but you've got little LED lights on the bottom of it that light the steps so that you can get in at night and you can actually see the step. Beyond just that, obviously this truck is lifted.
How much of a lift is on it?
The TRD Pro on its own, it has a leveling kit on it that gives you about 2 inches of lift. In addition to that, what I did is a good buddy of mine, Jimmy Alisteris, a good Greek friend of mine, he helped me in installing this Ready Lift suspension kit. It's one of the pictures that we took earlier. But on the TRD Pro, in order to maintain that same comfortable, cushiony ride, the only way to really do that is to actually utilize this Ready Lift suspension kit. So I know there's a lot of guys that are out there who probably own TRD Pros that want to maintain that same comfortable ride that they get from the TRD Pro with the Bilstein suspension. The Ready Lift suspension kit allows you to keep that suspension, to keep that ride, to utilize the existing suspension while only doing slight modifications. And what I have here is actually a 4-inch Ready Lift suspension kit. Beyond that, you take a look at the rims and the tires. And so starting off with the rims, we've got rolling big power AK8 rims. Love these rims. I like the nice black polished look with the matte silver finish, both on the bullet sections on the outside of the rim as well as the accent pieces on the inside. Beyond that, we put some Toyo AT Open Country tires on it. That gives it a nice lift as well. So in total, between the 4-inch lift from Ready Lift, the 2-inch leveling kit, and then about 1.5 inches to 2 inches worth of lift on the truck, just gives it a nice, really aggressive stance.
Anything else that you've done?
And then on the back, you know, obviously I'm in the welding business, and so when you work for Lincoln Electric, you got to carry a bunch of gear. And so I had to get a toolbox in the back to store all my welding gear, welding equipment, tools, and everything else that I need.
It actually still gives you a decent little bit of room back here. I've seen some trucks, as soon as they put the toolbox in the back, it just takes up most of the room. Actually still has a decent little bit of space back there.
Yeah.
And one other thing that he's done is he added this little light bar right here, which I think is awesome the way he's positioned it. He put it actually behind his grill, and this thing, as soon as he turns it on, it just lights up all the area in front of him. But that's one thing that actually adds a little bit to the security of it, because I've seen some people try to take those light bars off other trucks. Since it's behind that grill, no one's going to be taking that. Now, one thing that really makes this car stand out from the other Toyota Tundras from the inside is this little red stitching all over the inside of the truck. You have it here on the seats, right here you have TRD stitched right there, right here on the shift knob TRD Pro right there. This interior just looks awesome though. And that's one thing too, is that the sound deadening is awesome in here. He actually had his little drone just going just now, and when the door is open, you can clearly hear it. As soon as I shut the door, you couldn't hear anything, and it just got super dead quiet in here. That's one thing I just really like, is that it's just, this truck is an awesome daily driver, but it's also an awesome driver if you have to drive for business or anything like that. Just great on the highway. But yeah, all the gauges are right here. Looks like the red line's right at like 6,000 RPMs, maybe 5,900. But yeah, as you look around this truck is just super useful. Like if you're gonna use this as a work truck or anything, you have a huge console right here. It goes in pretty deep. The glove box over here isn't small either. You can definitely put some stuff in there. Has these little pockets all over the truck that you can put stuff in. So like I said, if you're using this as a daily driver, it's awesome, but also if you have to use it as a work truck too, it'd be really good too. And that's one other thing that he did to this truck, because this is his work truck. He added the WeatherTrek floor liners right here. And honestly, this floor liner makes it super easy to clean. If you have children or anything, they can spill drinks or whatever on it. It'll just pull up right here. But I mean, yeah, it doesn't look bad, and it's very useful. And all you have to do to clean it is take a wet rag, wipe it off, picks up all the dirt and everything, cleans off all this stuff right here, and it's just good as new. And the towing on this truck is actually phenomenal as well. That's one thing, is that he's actually had to tow a lot of stuff, heavy equipment, heavy welding equipment, and he has no problem at all with it. So really, this is just an all-around versatile truck. You can use it as a family truck, daily driver, long hauler, or anything. So I definitely recommend this truck. Now, if I was in the market for a truck, I would definitely think about getting this, because I love F-150s, I love Ford and everything, but when you start adding any of these options and everything that this truck has on it, it's just the F-150s can get kind of expensive. Granted, I know this isn't a cheap truck right here, but for all of what you pay, you get a great deal, honestly. And that's one thing, is that this truck is actually really fast for what it is. You know, it's a pretty big truck, but the acceleration, it really does get up and go for those moments where you just have to, you know, speed up whatever in traffic. It's definitely not a slouch on the road for sure. As far as all the stickers on the back, what do they mean?
Well, the first one on the left-hand side is a shout out to our wonderful men and women of law enforcement and our first responders, the fire department, and everybody else. If you haven't already, guys, the 100 Club is a wonderful way to support our public servants in uniform, our police officers here in Houston and the surrounding areas, as well as our fire departments and first responders. So everybody out there, it's $100. You know, it goes to a good cause. These guys put their lives on the line every single day to make sure that we're safe, that our families are safe. So definitely a big shout out to them. The next thing I have is actually a small company out of Magnolia, Texas, Absolute Zero Ordnance. The Potter family basically owns that facility out there. I'm actually having a couple of guns that are going to be built out there, which Logan will help me do some videos on. But a big shout out to the guys over at Absolute Zero and the wonderful work that they do out there. They have a master gunsmith there, David Potter, along with his dad, who just do phenomenal custom work. If you are looking for match grade, very accurate custom work, go see the guys over there at Absolute Zero Ordnance in Magnolia, Texas. And then finally, the last sticker is a shout out to my classmates and the rest of the alumni from the Long Gray Line at West Point, the United States Military Academy at West Point, for all the service you guys do. Go Army, beat Navy.
Look how fast this thing is. Like I was saying, this truck is definitely not a slouch when it comes to acceleration. Granted, yeah, it's not a speed demon or anything like that. It's not a car, but for a truck, this acceleration is pretty good. Definitely pushes you back in the seat. Well, guys, that is it for today's video, but definitely stay tuned because this is only part one, and you might be thinking, you know, what else can you do to this truck? You know, all the stuff's done, but can you say supercharger? But guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like it and please subscribe. And as always, have a great day.